Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rossi Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like on this video, it only takes 1 second and it makes a massive difference. Seriously, I thought 100k on this channel by the end of the year would be an unrealistic expectation, but the way momentum has been going on this channel lately, it's actually within the realm of possibility. So seriously, if you could subscribe, much appreciated. With that said, I really got 2 games to cover today, really more like 1.5, which I don't love doing, but once again, decided to watch a game at my parents' place, which means I have to drive 40 minutes there and back, and that kind of affects my ability to watch basketball games outside of the Bulls that I'm watching with my dad, obviously. But luckily, this was the most exciting game of the Bulls season, and really, I would say that Bulls versus Knicks was a movie. It wasn't a movie that I liked, but it was a movie. This game ended up being shockingly close, as I literally put out a tweet that was, not saying, oh, the game is over, but it was essentially like a GG. And then suddenly the Bulls found themselves back in the game. But real quick, before I actually talk about that game, I want to talk about Spurs versus Mavericks. Now, actually, I didn't watch the last 2 minutes of Spurs versus Mavericks because I had to leave my house and my connection was not good enough that I could listen to it in the car. So I didn't catch the last 2 minutes, but I probably watched like 60%, 70%-ish of this game because I was going back and forth between the Bulls-Knicks game, and the Bulls-Knicks game was close, so my attention was on that more so. That's kind of what happens when I'm watching other games while the Bulls game is on. It's unfortunate, but there are some things that are noteworthy from this game, even though definitely not the biggest deep dive into this game specifically. So, first quarter, I watched almost the entirety of the first quarter. The Mavericks scored 15 points, and they had, I believe, 5 points with 3 minutes left in the game, or in the quarter, rather. So they, in the first 9 minutes of the game, scored 5 points. And why was this? Well, once again, there was a lot of stuff that was offense that's not Luka. And as I've said before, and my video tomorrow is going to be, well, actually video today, because the time this video goes up, it'll technically be like 12 something, but semantics. I'm doing a video on the Mavericks, but the thing is, I have been the guy saying for a long time now that the Mavs need to do stuff that's not Luka. They need to have an offensive system that allows Luka to not be constantly utilized. The thing about that is, though, they need to have the players that can accommodate that system, and they currently do not. The Mavericks are full of play finishers. Not even as much as you would like, but pretty much everybody on this team is a play finisher. Somebody who is going to be assisted, and they're not bad at being assisted, like a Tim Hardaway Jr., who's a great catch-and-shoot option, or Porzingis, who is theoretically a good catch-and-shoot option, Dorian Finney-Smith in the corner. Really just a lot of catch-and-shoot things, and then guys like Dwight Powell and Willie Cauley-Stein, who can roll to the rim, Boban, who can be a post option, just a lot of guys who can finish plays for their team. The only guy outside of Luka that can really create on a consistent basis off of the dribble is sometimes Tim Hardaway can do like a step-in thing, but also sometimes you don't want to do that too much. But then really it's just Jalen Brunson. And Jalen has had, and I've been advocating for this, Jalen has had a lot more of a role on this Mavs team than any other year of his career. However, I think it's gotten too far because Jalen is a good offensive initiator, but if he's your second best one, I don't know that you want him leading the show half of the time, and that's really what it feels like with the Mavericks. Ironically saying that, Jalen Brunson had a run that kind of got them into the game early second quarter, but still, I don't think that Jalen Brunson should have... I think he should have a bigger role, but I also think he shouldn't be, okay, this is the second guy now. Like, he should have more opportunity, but it feels as though it's gone too much in the opposite direction. So, with that said, Jalen did have a good game. Maxi Kleber was locking down defensively, and they made sure to highlight this in multiple replays. But Luka himself, he ended up being the reason why they got back in this game, even though actually they got it close again, and then Luka got in the game, and then it kind of felt like the Mavericks had it from there because he was doing more stuff on the ball. Still not the amount that you would like him to, but a lot better than what was going on in the first quarter. Tim Hardaway shot horribly, so there was that. But overall, you know, they kind of figured it out eventually because they were playing the Spurs, and the San Antonio Spurs are not good. There are some things to take away from this, though. Kenny recently said that Jakob Poeltl is one of the more underrated players in the league, or underrated centers, and I definitely agree with that because he's like, the advanced stats say that his defense is like top of the top, and he's a really good rebounder as well. And then a guy who stood out a lot in this one for me was Lonnie Walker and DeJounte Murray. Lonnie Walker is someone who I've not really seen it with him in this game. He had some good scoring moments. And DeJounte Murray, his mid-range shot, his mid-range pull-up, it was really clean. I think he had a pull-up three-pointer or two. He just looked really good in this game, and I know his mid-range pull-up is like a thing, but it looked really good in this game. And so far on the year, holy shit, this got to be like there's no way he's played multiple games. This is my first Spurs game of the season. He's currently averaging 17, 9, and 9. I have to imagine those numbers are from just like 2 games. I'm going to check real quick. No. Wow. That's crazy. Through 5 games, DeJounte Murray is nearly averaging a triple-double. That's wild. Yeah, because he's played 5 games. Now, he is shooting horribly from the field and has a 21% from 3 and a 41% from 2-point percentage and 57% from the free throw line. This game he shot really efficiently, so hopefully that bumps up his numbers. But 9 rebounds and 9 assists, pretty fucking good. So that stood out to me. Keldon Johnson was not good, and that stood out to me. Keldon, I think, has a lot of stuff that he can build upon, but he also has moments where it's like, it's almost like Russell Westbrook syndrome, where it's like he's trying so hard that it's too much in a way that's like, I don't know how to describe it other than like that happens sometimes with Russell Westbrook. But I've been talking about this game way longer than I expected. I'm 7 minutes into this video. But now let's talk about Bulls versus Knicks. This game looked like the Knicks had it for pretty much the entire thing. The first quarter, I think, was... Let me check the summary just to see. Yeah, the Knicks were only up by 2 in the first quarter. The end of the half, only up by 4. But they went on a third quarter run, and it kind of became a 10-point game from there. And it looked like they were going to win this game, not easily, but it looked like they were going to win it comfortably. And then in the last 2 minutes of the game, the Bulls went on a run. There was an and one from DeRozan. It was a 9-point game, and there was an and one from DeRozan, a 3-pointer from Vucevic. After a missed free throw or 2, there was a drive by, or no, I think it was just a defensive stop, a drive by Levine, so it became a 1-point game. Then, nearly stole an inbound for DeMar DeRozan, who sadly his foot just like skidded on the floor and it put him out of bounds on the save. I guess not a save, but they fouled Julius Randle. Julius Randle goes 0 for 2 from the free throw line, which means it's a 1-point game with about 5 seconds on the clock. Logically speaking, you're going to give this ball to your best player, Zach LaVine. Now, Zach LaVine doesn't always have the best track record in the clutch. However, I trust him to hit a big shot far more than I trust anybody else on this team to do so. The play, to me, looked like it was to get Zach LaVine the ball. Zach LaVine was the inbounder, which I know might not indicate that initially, but I feel like the way the play was drawn up was a handoff. Lonzo comes up with like a fake to, oh, we're going to get the ball to Lonzo, but then he runs in. There's a screen to get DeMar open at the top of the key. Zach throws it to DeMar. They fully go to initiate a handoff play, and then DeRozan fakes the handoff, turns the corner, and then it didn't seem like Vucevic was ready for DeMar to do that, and his defender was in the way, so DeRozan shot a mid-range fadeaway that he hesitated on over 2 defenders. To me, I'm pretty sure Billy Donovan drew up that play as DeRozan is a decoy, get the ball to LaVine, and then LaVine gets some sort of shot towards the top of the key. Maybe he drives, maybe he shoots a step back, something like that. Ball in your best player's hands with a couple of seconds on the clock, that's the best case scenario. But it seemed like DeMar just went rogue and decided that he could get space faking the handoff, and he didn't get the space. And I'm not, some people are being like, oh, DeMar was playing hero ball, or he wanted to be the guy. But genuinely, it just seemed like he misread the situation as he was going to get more space than he did. And then he quickly realized, oh shit, the defense cut me off. And airballed the shot. So that's not good on his part. I will say DeMar DeRozan was a key part in the fact that the Bulls were in it to begin with. He got that and one that I mentioned. He had the assist to Vucevic for the top of the key three after a defensive stop that I believe he had some part in. So I can't get mad at him overall. The title might be something like what the fuck DeRozan, but I'm not too mad at him. Just an unfortunate circumstance. Let's talk about this game as a whole outside of just the ending. The reason why the Knicks won this game is they played great defense on Zach LaVine. Like, they were blitzing the pick and roll and doubling him every time. And a decent amount of the time, Zach was able to make the pass to the open Vucevic, whoever else was the roll man, or kick it out to the corner or something like that. But a lot of the times, the pass didn't find an open man. He didn't really get too many turnovers, I don't think. I don't even know if he got a single one passing out of the pick and roll. He did have 3 turnovers overall, so he might have had 1 or 2. I don't remember. But he passed out of them fine, but it just wasn't resulting in easy offense as you would typically expect out of double teaming somebody on a team that has so many offensive options. And that was kind of it. He had 17 points in the first half, but the second half he had only 8 points. And yeah, it was just rough, because after that it was up to Vucevic and DeRozan to score the ball. Now, Vucevic, best game of the season by far, and I had been bitching about how he had been performing. Did I even talk about the Bulls-Raptors game? I don't know if I did, because I only watched like 20% of it because I was at the Celtics-Hornets game. Yeah, he had 6 assists. All of those stood out. One in particular to Alex Caruso, where he lobbed it and Caruso put it up immediately. And he had a couple of good push shots, especially against Mitchell Robinson's defense, which was really good. It was surprising for him to do as well as he did. 3 for 5 from 3. His 3 ball has not been dropping this season, so to see it drop tonight has been nice. But DeRozan ended up being the guy offensively a lot, just because they were doing a little bit of the throwing doubles at DeRozan, but they were really doing it for Zach. So DeRozan had a couple of mid-range pull-ups, things like that. He had more 3-pointers than I would have liked. He took 4 threes in this game, and really it was basically 5. One of them just ended up being a long 2, but it was foot on the line, so that kind of distant shot, which for DeMar DeRozan, you don't love. And there was one play in particular that had me like ready to pull my extremely short hair out, because Vucevic found DeMar DeRozan for 3 when Lonzo Ball was wide open. And it was like, dog, why are you passing it to DeRozan when Lonzo was open for a 3? So that was annoying. But overall, I mean, the way I'd put it is this. The Bulls were like 5% behind everything the Knicks were doing for this game. And I can't even get like too mad at the Bulls in this instance, where the Knicks were doing well. I think the Bulls were doing fine. They just were not meeting the good performance from the Knicks all the way. And that was for a majority of the game. And then they just went nuclear for the last 2 minutes of the game and then ended up falling short. I'm going to talk about, there was also some weird rotation stuff in this with the Bulls, but I don't want to dive into the rotation too much. And it was also experimental to the point where I'm not even going to be too critical. On the next side of things, Julius Randle could not make a goddamn shot, but he got to the line a lot, was playmaking like crazy, rebounded a lot, and his defense, as I've heard from other people, and I made sure to make note of it in this game, his defense has definitely taken a leap this year. RJ Barrett, really fucking good in this game. Wasn't really hitting jump shots like that, but he was getting to the rim aggressively. A lot of plays where he just fucking bullied people at the basket, and one on Zach LaVine. I think he got an and one on Lonzo. Just a lot of very nice drives from RJ. Evan Fournier actually not good oh damn, I didn't realize he shot that poorly. I know he'd been good for them this season. He actually shot 4 for 14. It felt like he did better than that. And then Kemba had 21 points, and those were he was 5 for 6 from 3. That was really what felt like, for a lot of the game, it felt like I've talked about this before. I can't stand it when I'm watching a game and it seems like a team's making a run and then they don't. Or they do, and then the other team gets back immediately, and it's just a repeat of that same cycle. I especially can't stand it when it's my team. It felt like every time the Bulls were going on a run, Kemba Walker hit a 3-pointer, so that was fucking annoying. Derrick Rose hit a couple of big shots, and my dad was going, come on, Derrick, like, phone one in for the Bulls, even though obviously he wouldn't do that. But yeah, Obi Toppin got a crazy and one. The thing about the Knicks is their defense last year was really good. Their defense this year is really good, especially if Mitchell Robinson's going to play a lot more. their offense last year wasn't good. Their offense this year, it seems pretty fucking good to me. Especially being that Evan Fournier went 4 for 14 and Julius Randle went 3 for 11, and they still scored 104 points on a good Bulls defense. This team is kind of scary. Like, they're not a contender, but I think they're just as capable of the Bulls as being like a good playoff team. And I honestly think, I kind of hope that this ends up being a playoff matchup, because I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched, and I think a 104 to 103 box score would definitely be indicative of that. And it's also a very defensive affair, despite there being a lot of offensive options here. But like, Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier as your starting guards is just a lot better than what you had last year. And I think their offense can probably finish at least top 15, possibly getting into the top 10. I would probably say just a little bit outside, like 12 or 13 or something. And then they can still be like a top 5 defense. The offensive improvement there, the fact that Julius Randle improved defensively, yeah, this team's got some stuff. I feel like I doubted the team a little bit because of Julius Randle's shot creation. And at least in this game, Julius's shooting was not good. But even with that, even if that does take a bit of a dip, because Julius's scoring has not been quite as great, it's relatively similar, I guess. It wasn't in this one for sure. The team's offense, the players on this team, the offense overall is good, especially the fact that RJ Barrett seems to have taken yet another leap from last year. So yeah, the Knicks are a pretty scary team, and I'm heartbroken that DeMar DeRozan didn't just have LaVine shoot that shot. I would have much rather lived with LaVine missing that shot than DeRozan airballing over 2 defenders. But yeah, that is it. Goodbye.